All right, this is Bayou Bricks, and today I'm going to be reviewing the Fantastic Four Lego Marvel set for the Galactus versus the Fantastic Four, or specifically the Fantastic Four versus Galactus. It comes with 427 pieces. It comes with the minifigures of Reed Richards, Sue Storm, Johnny Storm, and Ben Grimm. And obviously the buildable sort of posable action figure thing that Lego's been doing with a few of its sets lately for Galactus. I think the Galactus build is really nice. The minifigures themselves, a lot of people online have been talking about the fact that they don't really come with like the white boots. And, one of the bigger complaints has been about Pedro Pascal's Reed Richards not having the white streaks. But all in all, I think it's a pretty good build. The price is a little bit high. I think this was 60 bucks. We're just kind of gonna get into the build, of which I have already done. So here we have the final build. Oh, Sue Storm just fell off. I think I was able to kind of knock this out in a evening, maybe I think about 2 hours. Probably a little bit slow for some people, but considering the fact that I've kind of just gotten back into Lego, it's a pretty fun build. I really liked how they do the posability for figures like these. But yeah, all in all, the posability is pretty good. The fingers move individually. There's also a stand on the back here where you see Johnny Storm, and where he's flying off and using his powers. Mr. Fantastic here comes with some bricks. I think there's like 1x3s in length, and with like these little white boots that really kind of show the fact that Lego was clearly aware that this figure in the movie has white boots, and yet, they don't really have them. But I think for this figure specifically, it would have looked a little weird to have, just white boots, then blue, then white at the bottom. Although you could have gone white boots on the minifigure, as well as just like white all the way down. So there are ways to do that. I really like the little, not sure if you can see them on the camera, but the little disc pieces, the clear pieces for Mrs. Fantastic, and or Invisible Woman, excuse me. And then Ben Grimm, I really like the head mold on him. And I think there's been a lot of complaints about whether Ben should be a big fig, which I think he's been in like some of the Lego animated films or in the games, or like a midi figure. I think this is pretty decent. It would have been nice if he was a little bit bigger, but not too much of a complaint. So you're probably wondering, bought a second set, and I looked online, and I know the set just came out, and I decided to get a second one because I was kind of curious as to what other characters I could get to, get into these sort of costumes to like sort of match up with the team here with the Fantastic Four. So I did a little research, and there are several characters that have appeared in the Fantastic Four that are not part of the core team. And so I figured that we could sort of make some of those out of Lego. So I'm gonna go ahead and lower the camera here. All right, seems like a pretty good angle. And these guys. Oh, one other thing that I kind of created, I made a mock of the Fantastic car. Just kind of spent an afternoon just working on a different design and whatnot for it. This piece here, really kind of like this because I feel like it looks like the Ultimate Nullifier, which is one of Mr. Fantastic's weapons that they use against Galactus. And I was also able to get it where all four of them can fit in here. One person here, here, there, and here. which, you know, is pretty cool in my opinion. Probably use this to point a little bit better, yeah, here and there. But like I said, it's a mock, and if anybody wants the instructions, I can always sort of take it apart and try to do a building video of that. But, so, according to Wikipedia, the characters that have also been a part of the Fantastic Four have been Ms. Marvel / She-Thing, Crystal, Medusa, Luke Cage, Nova, She-Hulk, Ant-Man, Namorita, Storm, Black Panther, Powerhouse, Brainstorm, Flux, Spider-Man, obviously, Miss Thing, Moon Girl, Devil Dinosaur, Iceman, and Jack of Hearts. Now, most of those characters aren't even created in Lego minifigure form yet, but I do have almost all of the ones that are. So here we go. Let's see if I can move this around. All right, so here are those minifigures here. Going around, of course, you have Storm coming around here from the Lego CMF. We also have She-Hulk. I'm not sure which set this Black Panther is from. Ant-Man, which is like one of the only Ant-Man minifigures you've got. And then, of course, Iceman Bobby Drake from the most recent X-Men set. So, I feel like, you know, it'd be kind of cool to have these figures in the Fantastic Four costume. So, we'll throw those into some of those iterations and see what they look like. First bag has Mr. Fantastic in it. So we're just gonna pull those pieces out. So we have the head here. I think that's pretty good. All right, the second bag here is a Sue Storm. Just gonna go ahead and dump that and rebag it. Now I think what I'm just now noticing, and what many of you have probably already noticed, is that there's not too many difference between the gendered costumes here, like there are in some sets. So they're all this sort of 1960s fabric here. There's no curves on the minifigures. Well, maybe. Let's see. No, those are pretty identical on the backs, as well as the fronts. Now, they'll probably get some comments about how, you know, the minifigure costumes here might not look good on other characters because of they're the 1960 costumes. They're not meant for other characters, but this is all we have. These are the only official Fantastic Four Legos that we have, and probably the only ones we'll have for the foreseeable future, depending on how well the movie does and how well this set does. So this is what we have, and this is what we'll use. I personally try to stick with whatever sort of Lego that we have that are Lego made. I try not to buy too many, if any, sets or Legos or minifigures that are not of the Lego brand. It's more so just a personal preference because I don't really like how some of them feel. Luckily, didn't need any of the bricks out of this pack, so this will just go straight back into the bag. And that's not to say there's anything wrong with buying off-brand Lego. There's just different brands of bricks. I personally kind of grew up on Lego, and I just like the way the bricks feel. I'm very specific on the way the things feel. Anyway, so third bag here, we have a Thing minifigure. And what you'll notice is that the main difference between these minifigures is the around the collar. That's essentially it. The Thing minifigure has two faces here. A neutral face and a sort of angry, disgruntled face. And we're throwing his like little hairpiece / headpiece. And he also comes with like these rock fists, which you'll see on the figure that I've already built. Those are pretty cool. Look a little disproportionate, but you know, it works. It's Lego. Just throw those over there, and we'll go ahead and rebag this. Something that's pretty trivial about this set is that it comes with 4 bags. Fantastic Four. And a simple little, you know, play like that on the name of the team. To me, it kind of shows like the little bits of detail that Lego pays on their sets. I do have like a whole little Lego city, Marvel City specifically, that I've been trying to work on. I might show it in future videos, but I'm still working on it. So this was the Johnny Storm minifigure. So it comes with 2 faces. And I realized that I didn't show this for the other 2, so I'll go ahead and do that real quick. The Reed. That's kind of smug Reed Richards grin. And then Sue Storm here, if I can get her hairpiece off. And yeah. So that is all 4 of them right here. Before we go ahead and swap out the heads and faces. So that's kind of what we have right now. And before we move on, just want to go ahead and show the differences in the just swapping out that hairpiece. So if you have one for Pedro Pascal's character, Reed Richards, just go ahead and swap it out with the Doctor Strange hairpiece. Something so simple as that. I'm not sure why they didn't do it. I don't know. I mean, to me, it makes a pretty big difference, you know, small difference, whatever. I like the change, so this is the Reed I'll be going with in my displays. So, and this is him again with the extended legs. I'll go ahead and show them in the Fantastic car that I made. Like I said, this is a mock that I kind of made with pieces that I already had. I thought it was pretty. Thought it came out pretty well. It's not really based on any single version of the Fantastic car. It's based on different versions of it, just like a mishmash, based upon pieces that I already had. So, all right. So typically, in the comics, I believe Black Panther doesn't really wear the Fantastic Four costume, but we're gonna go ahead and just throw that head on there, see how it looks. It looks pretty silly. That black does not really go that well with this blue and the white hands. I could probably like swap out more pieces here, but not really a fan. So I see why they don't really put Black Panther in the Fantastic Four costume. But for the sake of the video, we'll keep him in it for a little bit. And we'll move on to the next one. Just sit up there. Let's go ahead and do She-Hulk. She-Hulk, I think, is probably going to work a lot better. Her costume naturally sort of has a lot of white in it. So I think that's going to work pretty well. Yeah, I like that one a lot. If I had some plain green arms, I think I'd probably just swap out the arm pieces here, maybe even just the hand pieces. But I like this one a lot. Yeah, let's swap that head around. I think that looks pretty cool. So this is what she looks like. Yeah, that one's a winner. All right, so now let's do Johnny Storm and swap him out for Spider-Man. Now, I've personally never seen a Fantastic Four lineup that's had Ant-Man in it, but you know, that's what Wikipedia says. That's what we're gonna do. I think this one works pretty well too. Yeah, the red and the blue and the white. It's a pretty red and blue are pretty classic pairings, and it's not too far off from what Spider-Man normally wears. And if anything, we could probably swap out the pants here, see how that looks. But the costume that I did swap out has dark blue pants. Man, not really a fan of that. So let's go ahead and change it back. So, yeah, I think that one works pretty well too. All right, now what we have left, we have Ant-Man, and we also have Iceman. So let's go ahead and go with Iceman Bobby Drake. This is what his minifigure looks like. This came with the X-Men Mansion set that came out, I think last year before last. I have that also. Could probably do a little tour of that. But yeah, so let's go ahead and just swap out the head. Even though, of course, I don't know. If Iceman put on the Fantastic Four's costume, which is made of that magical sort of element that's supposed to change with their body, probably would keep the costume the same, I guess. And that's what Iceman looks like. Not too bad. Let's see. Let's do some different part swaps on them. See what we can get. So let's I'm just gonna change the this is what I got right here. This one, you can't really tell that it's even a Fantastic Four costume, so we're not going to do that one. And this one, it's not too bad. But just for the sake of continuity, we're going to swap those pants back so that everybody kind of looks the same. That's one thing I do wish that the X-Men set had more of, was like I know it's based upon the 90s series, but I do wish that we had like more costumes in that set, where like just team costumes. All right. So let's get these on the little roundabout. Black Panther, I'm really just not liking that at all. And I love Black Panther. So let's go ahead and just swap that costume back, and let's try Ant-Man, perhaps. And this is the Ant-Man figure. So let's go ahead. Scott Lang, which I believe is the Ant-Man. That's pretty cool. Pretty fun. Pretty simple. Nothing to write home about. And let's just try one more. Let's see what the Storm with the Mohawk looks like with that. So this is a Storm CMF figure. I think this is a CMF figure. I have so many Storm minifigures. Okay. It's pretty good. Let's swap Storm. Actually, let's throw on her cape. Let's see how that looks. Maybe that'll kind of elevate it a little bit. I think it looks okay. Maybe it's the comic book part of my brain that's like makes it feel like some of these work and then some of them don't. Let's give them a nice little spin around. All right, let's see. Let's slow that down just a little bit. All right, so this is what we have so far. She-Hulk works really well. The Spider-Man works really well. Iceman, you know, it's okay. Let's go ahead and try to get everybody together. We're gonna also throw in Black Panther and Scott Lang, and we'll probably also just take Storm out of the costume just to see how that kind of all looks. All right, and this is what we have. This is the final builds. We have Mr. Fantastic here, Invisible Woman, Bobby Drake Iceman, Scott Lang's Ant-Man, The Thing, She-Hulk, Johnny Storm, Spider-Man, Black Panther. I think it looks pretty cool. Definitely did not end up using one of the costumes here. So you have any ideas on who I could give this to, you know, leave a comment. You know, I have almost any Marvel minifigure that you can think of. So maybe there was some that weren't on the Wikipedia list that I'm not familiar with, but yeah, I think it turned out pretty good. Once again, here's that Galactus. And yeah, thanks for watching.